Well, just as the week was coming to a close, wouldn't you know it, we got a leak for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and specifically it appears to be a hardware leak. That's right, there have been talks about maybe there's some new Switch that could release next to The Legend of Zelda, and a lot of that has to do with just the idea that if Nintendo was going to launch something, they'd put it next to a big game. Well, technically, it does appear, based on this leak, that there will be a new Switch, just maybe not what some people were hoping to see. We're going to go over that here today because there are still some questions that are being brought up, though, after seeing this new system. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure to hit that like button, and if you're new to the Spawn Wave channel, make sure you subscribe down below. So, first of all, what happened was last night, there were several images that were posted up. It seemed to start on a Chinese forum called Taiba or Tiba, and from there it was picked up and then spread all over the internet. Other forums like Fama Boards and Reset Era and NeoGAF, they all started picking it up, and then Reddit got a hold of it, and it was off from there. So clearly there was a lot of talk then around Zelda and how this new Switch looks, because as we can see, I already have it zoomed in, it is indeed a Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Special Edition system. I don't think this should surprise anyone that this is a thing. There have still been people kind of going back and forth on the idea of, is this a legitimate leak? Is this real, or is somebody trying to pull a fast one on the internet here? I'm tending to lean towards this being a real thing, mostly because the stuff that's in the pictures, mostly it's uneventful. And what I mean by that is not that, oh, wow, there is a Tears of the Kingdom Switch. That would be an event, right? I mean, the idea that there's nothing here that looks weird or out of the ordinary or really stops people from really going all in on this and saying it is real. There's not any weird thing necessarily here. Like, we can see the box itself lines up with the cover art that we've already seen, the logo, and then we have our system here, as well as, looks like them playing Pokemon, either Scarlet or Violet. Actually, it looks, I think this is towards like the end of the game, based on where they are. Like, something weird like that, it would be strange to kind of throw that in there when you're trying to trick people into believing that this is a special edition system that you've fabricated. But they also have the little indicator down here, no game included. That is Nintendo's MO, to make the special edition system and not put the game in there. So that part does check out. Anyway, the system, it looks like we have the white dock with the crest. There's a Triforce here where kind of this glare is, and it just has that gold accent all the way around it. And the dock looks okay. I mean, I think the Joy-Cons to me are the standout here. I believe they look pretty good, and I was hoping we would get that gold pair of Joy-Cons for Tears of the Kingdom. It seemed like it made a lot of sense because Nintendo was showing up with quite a few special editions, especially even with the OLED, right? We were getting many of them. So it made sense that Tears of the Kingdom would get a similar treatment here. And if we go, we can see a nice close-up shot of the Joy-Con controllers. This is another reason I do tend to lean towards it being a real thing, because they are, I mean, they're zooming in pretty far. They're showing a lot of details, and it seems like it'd be easier just to do one shot of it from far away. But I mean, again, pretty good angle of them here. Even the buttons, I think this works well enough. I do like the touch of green right here on the left Joy-Con controller. The only thing that didn't work for me, and we can see it more here, I think I would have preferred it to be all gold. Maybe that's boring. I don't know. The idea of having this white accent on the back, maybe that just stands out a bit more. And I don't know. I think I would have preferred all gold, but I guess it also lines up a bit with the dock that is gold and white. Not to mention the straps for the Joy-Cons. It looks like that's white there with black shoulder buttons and a gold string that they have to tie around your wrist, just in case you want to play, I don't know, 1-2 switch or arms. There you go. You can play arms with this one. I think most people are picking this up to probably leave it in the box, just to be honest. I mean, some people will buy it to go alongside of Tears of the Kingdom, and they'll play the latest big 3D Zelda game on their new Zelda Switch. The only thing that I guess is a little disappointing is they didn't do a ton with the back of the Switch. I feel like you drop a Triforce on their logo on there or something. It seems like they were trying to be very minimalistic with the body of the Switch. They do have designs around the back of it here, but nothing that really sticks out and makes you go, wow, that's the Zelda Switch. Now, we have seen Nintendo release these systems a couple of weeks. Usually it's like 2 or 3 weeks before the game comes out. And to them, it's like, why not? There's no game inside of this package, so it's not like they're pushing the game out early or anything, and it has to be there same day as the game. So I'm kind of lining this up in my mind as it coming out at the end of April, so the last week in April or the first week in May. I guess they could still launch it the same day the game comes out, but they sort of get the... I've noticed this especially on like social media. They kind of get like 2 hype cycles of release. The system, and I see pictures all over Twitter and stuff, people getting it, unboxing it, checking it out, and then the game coming out. So it sort of works for them to have 2 waves of excitement and marketing just from people picking the different items up. So to me, that makes sense for them. Now, this obviously has started up the conversation once again of, I guess that is technically the Switch that's going to go alongside of Tears of the Kingdom. It's not going to be a Switch Pro or anything there. And I think we're kind of off the most part anyway. I'm going to say most part. There are still some corners of the internet that seem to believe that it's happening for Zelda, but I think we're mostly off of the Switch Pro or new Nintendo Switch wagon at this point, and we're just kind of looking towards 2024 or so for Nintendo's next generation push. And I guess this technically doesn't completely discount the idea of them releasing, I don't know, a Switch Pro or something for Zelda, but the fact that they have this here, this is the system they're going to want to push to go alongside of the game. Now, the other question, and clearly this is going to start up because we're a couple of days away from 2023 to start off with January, and what happens when we get into the first half of January? Speculation around a Nintendo Direct starts to pick up, and after seeing this Zelda Switch pop up online with these images, yeah, people are now asking, when will this be revealed, and is this showing that there is a Nintendo Direct maybe planned earlier in the year than we were thinking originally? Like, you could say February. Sure, well, that's where we'll look towards for a Direct, but we're seeing this already packaged up, seemingly ready in a warehouse somewhere. Does that mean that they are preparing something for January and do a big reveal for this? Maybe the game itself, since we haven't seen a lot of Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm sure there is part of that as them thinking, oh, it's part of the unknown, the marketing, and when we get closer, we'll do a big blowout for Zelda. Here's what makes this significantly different from Breath of the Wild and why it's taken so long to get this game out. And it's this big aha moment, big thing that they have that they've planned out for this title that is going to blow everyone away. And oh yeah, here is this new Switch themed Zelda system and all of this, right? I think it's possible they could do that in a Direct, like a general one, but I also think it's possible that they have an entire Direct based on Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. They've done this with other games. Xenoblade got one. We saw Splatoon get one. So why not do one for what many people will argue as, I'd say, the biggest release in terms of just the overall talent level behind it and how much Nintendo's clearly invested in this sequel. You can't necessarily say sales because there are probably other games that are going to sell more than this in the long run. I'm thinking of maybe Pokemon, but this is still a monumental release for Nintendo. So celebrating it with this system, potentially its own event, big marketing push, makes sense. They could also Twitter drop this like they did with the Splatoon 3 system, where they go, hey, here's this really cool Switch, here's the day it's out, here's a trailer, and we'll see you guys then. But this is certainly exciting for Zelda fans. My only thing is I hope they just sell the Joy-Con controllers separately alongside of this special edition Switch, because I don't really need another Switch. I don't really like the dock as much. I think I'd be okay with just buying those Joy-Con controllers, because I mean, every generation we get a gold peripheral or accessory, don't we? Like for Zelda. So I'd like to pick these ones up too without having to buy the entire $360 or $370 bundle with the system. I have enough Switches, I think, at this time. I'm more or less ready for Nintendo whenever they want to show off what's after this one, and then that's the next system that I'll pick up there. But let me know what you guys think about this one down below. If this ends up being legitimate, which I do think it is, Are you going to be picking this up, especially if you have like maybe the first Switch system still and you've been thinking about getting an OLED? Is this something that would push you over the edge? Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.